episode 32.
32, yeah. Happy Monday, fellas.
What are you drinking now here in the office? We are here back for another week. We survived last Monday. That was difficult at times. We had a very powerful beer that we almost forgot we drank and almost did it again tonight.
I'd say it wasn't my fault, but it was definitely my fault.
Definitely. How you doing tonight, Nick?
Doing really well. Just so you guys know, I'm putting down some beers, documenting in written format so y'all can see when you have questions what we drank tonight. If you have any questions or comments during the show, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe.
Oh my God.
My palate cleanser tonight is the Optical Illusion.
Oh, we just got that in today. That's the one from Blue Point?
Blue Point Brewery. That's actually out at on Long Island. A lot of people don't know that's Long Island's first microbrewery.
Long Island?
Long Island, yeah.
From what I've seen on a map, it's actually relatively long.
If you can slice your prosciutto just right, you get your little Johnny over there will hook you up, and you get over to Blue Point Brewery. It's good. Long Island's a good place.
So what's the difference between Long Island and Staten Island?
So I'm drinking the Bell's Bright White. it's a little Belgian wheat style, and it's nice, smooth, easy drinking. A little malty to cleanse the palate. How about you, Josh?
I am once again drinking some lovely kombucha, the ginger and oak.
Kabuki.
Yeah, it is kombucha. The Flying Embers ginger and oak. I prefer the ginger and oak. I like the delicious burn. Burn's going down. It's good.
That almost reminds me of a bourbon barrel aged beer that was made in the dark ages that burned going down.
It doesn't burn like that.
Hey, we should taste that this week, man. I don't think I've had a chance to try that
yet. So, Nick, what is your beer that we're trying tonight?
This is the Contact Haze.
You got a contact going on.
This is a hazy IPA, West Coast. Elysian out of Seattle, Washington. They've been in the game for a while, and actually they've been doing a hazy one with their space dust for quite a while. But I think this is going to be like more New England style. I do like this really bright golden yellow hue.
I'm looking at the pour right now, and I'm not seeing much hazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm definitely going with a West Coast haze here because that is not the East Coast. Did we get you?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of haze, you know.
Well, I was looking over there at that one, and I think it's compared to the Optical Illusion sitting over there, and it's
okay. So here, this will clear this up.
There's haze, yeah.
A little hazy haze.
The day the world stood still and Elysian brewed a hazy IPA, rules were broken to bring you Contact Haze, a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. Okay, should see some raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, passion fruit, and a slight floral note.
I don't buy it.
Oh, we'll see. I'll get this label up in a second. I want to get in.
Definitely get the guava and passion fruit on the nose. No, I don't.
Simply said,
I do get a little
tropic notes. Yeah.
I get like
I was trying to get smart.
amalgam, like just like a mix of tropical fruit, none stand out in particular.
I get the part about the hop aroma without a high bitterness, so I just don't get a high bitterness. I'm getting some sour tones, acidic tones, but just really not into the bitter tones.
I'm getting the hops on there. Little, like you said, a little bit of bitterness. Not so much sour for me, but I am getting some bitter on there.
I get a lot more of the fruit on the palate. A lot of like the rind and zest of like the tropical fruits coming on. A lot of like orange zest almost on the back end, like a deeper, darker skinned orange.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a blood orange type
thing? Yeah, I'd say like almost the flesh of a blood orange, like the pith of a blood orange.
You're always on the pith.
Yeah.
You're right there on the pith.
Are you sure it's not a Mineola?
Huh? I think
Citrus Gurus out there, you let
Josh
us
is
know.
right there on the pith of it.
Frankly, I just like the word pith.
Mm-hmm.
Pithy beer.
It's only one letter away from Sith, and we know that they're all our favorites.
Come back to the light side, Josh.
So here, let's think about some other things that we like about this beer.
You know, I have to say, I think we're kind of dead right now, and I think it's, to me, this beer's not doing much for me.
I don't.
It's not
I'm not
exciting.
getting a big taste. This is a very mild taste. The light color almost like speaks to a Vienna malt, where you're not going to get much roasting tones.
This is
It's
a
a
6%,
6 point.
if I remember right.
That's right, 6 point.
I think that was the first beer I had last night out of your fire. The one I drank by myself while
There's
you
kind
were,
of a leafy.
didn't even know I was there.
Yeah, I had to read 7 texts to find out the party was just walking around my house.
That's what you were talking. Oh God.
I'm inside like
God.
president cheese
Those of
trays
you
and
that didn't
stuff.
know, Nick had a little cookout last night. He invited me over. He said there was a bonfire in the backyard. So I walked around the side of the house with my beer and sat on the table, pulled up a stool,
True story.
sat at the bonfire for half an hour.
Rifled out about 7 quality group texts.
drank the beer. I was like, hey, you know.
Did you drink the whole beer, or
I
did
did.
you just throw it on your boot
I did.
halfway through?
The can was in the fire by the time you got out
That's
there.
right.
Oh my
Good.
God.
Destroy the evidence. That's good.
That's too good.
Rob threw a log on the fire so big it was still like smoking when I left for work today.
Hey, that's the way you keep
That-
warm all night.
That story is so much better than this beer.
Yeah, the beer is not doing much for me.
It's not a big beer. It's just a light flavor.
It's a party beer. I mean, I would drink this at a party.
Yeah,
It's got a dryness. So I didn't say particularly bitter, but I would say it's definitely kind of a dry versus juicy finish.
so here's what it is for me. You said a party beer. I could take a 6-pack of this to a party and give a couple away and be fine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna feel bad about that.
And drink the rest of them, and yeah, okay, but it's not doing anything where I'm going, wow, this is,
Yeah, and but it's not sitting heavy. It's really light.
Price point, it's entry level for our craft beers, so it's right at the bottom tier pricing.
$2.75. So I mean, it's a drinkable beer. It's just not wowing me.
Yeah, I'm not getting much wow factor. Just sort of a pleasant beer. Be interesting to see how this took with different food. You really probably couldn't go wrong. I'm always like, hey, throw spicy food at the IPA.
Give me a liverwurst pate. with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, liver.
I may have gone a little too deep on the Braunschweiger last night.
I wasn't complaining,
Remember that night?
especially on the ciabatta.
Remember that night we drank a bunch of liquor and ate nothing but liverwurst pate and raw onions?
So you've been to my bonfires.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is good. It tastes like everything else Elysian does. I mean, it's got that mass appeal to it. It tastes like a very user-friendly beer.
Okay, so yeah, Elysian, the beers I've had from them are, like you said, user friendly. There has been one or two that have stood out to me. What was the Space Dust or?
Space Dust.
Space
is
Dust is
pretty
a good
crazy.
IPA.
It's also like a 10 point or something.
No, it's 8.5
8.5,
or something
okay.
like that, but it's good.
Well, maybe Elysian's point is, as far as like making a wow beer is a little bit above the 6
They
point
did that crazy black lime one that we had.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That was good.
That
was
was
cool.
good. I did like that.
I
So,
found out what a black lime was.
but that was in the 6
Apparently just leave it
range
on the
too,
counter
though,
and
wasn't
you
it?
got a black line.
I think that was close to like 4.
Okay,
something like
all
that.
right.
I think it was like a 5 point. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not necessarily they have to work at an ABV level.
But they do some pretty cool stuff,
So their labels are usually pretty
Should
witty.
I did kind
There's
of
some
like
stuff
that.
going on with this. I don't quite get it though.
the aesthetic is nice.
The guy getting his face peeled off.
Oh, it's a face peeler.
Is that like? Oh, is that like a take on the day the Earth stood
I mean,
still?
he's getting
Yeah,
a
they said
contact
something.
face.
Oh.
What was
Okay.
the name of that thing? That's next to hat.
Claptu, Narada,
that's my work hat.
Nikto.
Those are words you're not supposed to say. I'm not trying to get killed
Are
by
those-
the Necronomicon.
Are those on there? Those words are on there?
No, he just asked what the day the Earth stood still was. So anyway, okay, so it just kind of for us. It was a decent little beer.
It's a beer.
Moving on. I think we're
Alright.
going with Josh here.
Next up, we have the Wicked Weed hot cocoa.
Another Wicked Weed 2 weeks in a row, Josh.
It's not the Dark Ages.
Where's your T-shirt?
Yeah, are we sponsored now?
I heart
No,
Asheville.
they
Come on.
told me if I do one next week, I get a T-shirt.
Awesome.
I'll cut it in 3 and we can share it.
Just like you cut that beer last week in 3 and it shared us.
Yeah, the beer shared us. We did not share that beer. That is absolutely true.
Woo. We do remember that beer. For those of you that think we did.
Props to you, Wicked Weed, for getting us all very drunk.
Last week was an interesting week. I think it was a lot louder too.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Top yourself off right there.
this is the hot cocoa from Wicked Weed. This is their seasonal porter that they do. This is actually the last year they're doing this porter. They're going to change the recipe and call it something a little different.
It's the one with cacao nibs, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. It's got cacao nibs,
Don't have a cacao, man.
and I think that's going to affect on the nose. To me, I'm getting a very, very, very dry
4.6
chocolate
out of 5.
nose. Barely chocolate, but very dry.
Yeah.
It smells like a cacao nib.
A little raisiny in there. Like not into the full fruit, but just kind of like touching on it on its own.
Okay, so it's got the usual porter kick to it, as far as like burnt coffee.
Yeah, I was gonna say I get some coffee notes in there, but then that chocolate, that cacao.
And again, to me, that's very dry. Not sweet.
Yeah,
It tastes like there are a bunch of cocoa nibs in this.
yeah. Remember the first time you tried to
6.5,
take the
okay.
Hershey's powder and make your own hot chocolate, and you forgot to add the sugar?
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You make that mistake once.
Once. If I just add more of this cocoa powder, is it gonna get better?
No. So this is 6.5. I actually am kind of digging this.
I really like this.
I think it's got a cool dry flavor. I really like.
Yeah, exactly. Dry. I keep bringing up last week, but as opposed to last week was a very big beer, but it was sweet.
Yeah.
This is a very dry.
Oh, yeah.
This has like these sweet notes to it. Like I keep saying, there's like these little notes of like prune and raisin in there, but then they're quickly brought back into those tannins of the chocolate and those coffee porter malts. And
It reminds me of like how people would think a cab is sweet even though it's not, because you can get the fruity tones and stuff like that.
He said
didn't that happen to us last week?
He said how you think a cab is sweet. I immediately went to like a yellow cab. And I'm thinking, well, if you think that's sweet, try an Uber. That's where my head went. I was like, the cab is sweet. What?
We're not being sponsored by
We're
Uber.
2 samples in. Ralph's
Yeah.
already trying to call an Uber.
But no. So this beer I do like.
It's a shame they're doing away with it.
However, if they're doing away with it, it kind of makes me think that they found a formula that they think is going to be better. And Wicked Weed hasn't really put out too much trash.
They really haven't. They do a really good job.
Even though we didn't care for the beer last week, it wasn't our style.
It wasn't a bad beer.
It's a
at
quality
all.
beer.
Yeah, it was
just
very.
wasn't
It
our
was
style.
a very good beer. It just was not good
For us.
last Monday.
I'm thinking it was pretty good for the several people that sold it to in between, though, because people would have liked it.
My father loved it.
Well, there you go. But this, I think, is a generally good, all-around, easy drinking porter.
Yeah.
Once you get past that first sip with the big bitter on the coffee, it kind of dies away.
I was thinking that, given the labeling and the hot cocoa, I thought this was going to be way more chocolatey. And it's much more true to just a nice porter feel with a little bit of chocolate,
And then a little bit of the bitter of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, that bitter has really died away for me. The more of it I drink. Like that first taste was really bitter, but the second, third, it kind of rounded out
Yeah.
as it coated your palate more.
It's genuinely
I'm digging this one.
This is a very good beer.
As I get into it, there's this slight booziness I catch on the nose. It's actually kind of pleasant. It keeps tying me back in. I'm not saying it's overly boozy, not like an imperial.
Yeah,
We're dealing with a 6.5
6.5,
porter,
yeah.
so
definitely staying away from the Baltic range.
yeah,
When I was,
something nice to handle with food.
when I was bartending at the Kettle, man, we had a few regulars that were rabid fans of this stuff. It's the only beer they would drink.
Hmm.
You know,
So they'd only drink beer like 2 months out of the year.
They gotta be like dark beer guys if
That was just when I was
that
bartending at the Kettle.
Oh, you only worked there for 2 months. Gotcha.
It was
So,
good 2 months.
good 2 months, yeah.
I gotta tell you. Yeah, I don't know if I'd get hooked on this to be the only beer, but if I'm doing a dark beer night, I think I'd definitely like to have one or two of these in the sixer.
I think it's great that it's a seasonal because it's not going to be something I'm going to drink year round.
It's a nice finish tone.
But
really
this time
nice.
of year, I think it's really fits right in that dark beer
The
season.
finish is almost verging on meaty. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that last sip when I downed it, it was.
I'm
I
never
could
really
say.
wanted to be a seasonal drinker, you know, but honestly, if it was 110 outside, I would probably not want to drink this.
Yeah, it kind of. We are having some unseasonably warm temperatures in the past week and going forward for the next week. Our dark beer sales have definitely been a little slack, other than Nick pumping out the dark age.
I was
people.
so sticky by 10:30 this morning.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, it's like sweat.
What this guy does at work is not our business.
Whoa.
It was sweat inducing.
So anyway, I'm not going there. Like some people.
Anyways, it calls for a palate cleanser.
Yeah, I had to get that out.
While Rob prepares his bottle, I just want to throw some good friendly words out there. We're 32 episodes in, guys. We're coming up on 3/4 of a year. This has been a lot of fun for us. It's not easy to convince ourselves this is what we need to be doing every Monday, but it is sure fun when we get here.
This is gonna be that special.
One of our most fun moments is the interaction we get with our viewers, whether it's on the live stream. We'd like to see more chat going on there. Also, our YouTube videos, guys. Feel free to comment online.
Rob, Rob never does this.
So I felt like throwing a zinger to these guys tonight.
Are we doing a blind tasting?
No. I wouldn't do that to you. But what I'm doing right now is I'm actually proving to people that just because we don't like something doesn't mean it's not quality. Because
Sweet wine.
I have a wine right here
Is it a Lola?
that none of us
Sweet
are
wine.
going to like because it does not fit our flavor profile. However, this wine is the top selling wine in the shop. This is not a knock against anybody who likes this wine, especially the ladies who are looking for a sweet wine, because this is a quality Italian Moscato. This is not the flavor profile of any of us that we generally go to. So, like I said, I was throwing a zinger to them. We're going to review it. I'm going to let you know that probably none of us are really going to like it. But there are immensely more people that do like it than us three.
It goes to show you there's a difference between a great or good wine and wine that you like.
The other thing, so Lola, this vintage changed their label, their bottle. It was a clear bottle before with a orange label. It had a cork in it, foil cork. Now they've gone to a screw top, a wrapped white,
And they made it
bottle.
drier.
I don't think they have.
They made it right.
Now the problem is the screw cap. Nick has had problems opening it.
Oh my god.
I'm actually having problems opening it right now.
It is a challenging thing.
Okay. I was gonna laugh when I got this, but that's that no one can open that.
So, Rob and I figured out it's an Italian
I
bottle.
might have to stand up with it.
It's a left-handed open.
There we go.
See how he spins it the other way? It's like the Coriolis effect.
You have to get into it sometimes.
That is ridiculous.
So that's.
Do you know which way the water?
Are they made of stainless steel or
Do
something?
you know which way the water
They just
drained
don't
in the old
perforate it enough.
Roman toilets?
Rome's above the equator or below?
Rome
The
is
answer's
definitely
down.
above the equator.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna fill these glasses up nice and full for these guys.
Somebody might ask
Yeah.
why such a full sample. So one of the things that Rob mentioned briefly but didn't touch on, this wine comes in a bottle like a spritzer.
I see what you
Okay,
did
a
there.
lot of the wines we've sampled have been between 12 and 14%. This wine comes bottled at 6.5%, 5.5%, and so while it's a very modest serving, a full glass of this would just be equal to basically half a beer or a light beer. So we call that a spritzer in wine world because it equates to half a glass of wine filled with.
Well, the spritzer's gonna be adding something else like club soda or tonic type thing.
That's right.
Ooh,
So,
Now,
solid
now the
substitute.
I'm not
Moscato.
saying this is a spritzer. This is actually D'Asti, so it's Italian sparkling wine.
Excuse me.
But what I'm saying is the strength of this
4-3.
is like a back porch
Yeah.
sipper, like those old.
So yeah, the thing about this Lola that makes it good for a lot of people to enjoy. It's an easy drinking. It's low ABV, like Nick was saying. However, this is made classic Moscato style. It's D'Asti, so it's from the Asti. It is light, easy to drink. It's got a little bubbly, a little effervescence. All right, so my first thing, my palate has got to be not clean right now.
So I
because
chose a
got
neutral cleanser in
I
here.
got some balsamic on that, and that should not happen.
It is.
No, try again. Try again. I don't. I think there's one taste that overwhelmingly comes through between the sparkles and everything, which is there's just a friendly white grape
Well,
nature to this.
Yeah, that trench. I definitely had some of the probably that porter still in my palate.
First thing that hit is the bubble. This is a sparkling wine. It's
Yep.
it's friendly. It's pleasant. Second thing I get is the sugars, followed by a nice fruit tone. That fruit tone to me is anything from peaches, little spikes of like honeydew melon, touches of citrus, but really then right into a solid white grape. And that's sweet, like cotton candy is one of those grapes you find out there. Kind of reminds me a lot of that. Almost like champagne grapes themselves.
So I'm gonna say one of the good things with this being a lower ABV wine is if this were a standard 12 to 14% ABV wine and it was this sweet, you would be waking up hurting in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because the sugar content is what's going to give you your hangover.
This is very sweet.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the brick level is on this. The bricks level.
It'd be interesting to see what is
It's about
residual sugar of the
I
fruit.
would say it's probably third little pig level of bricks.
Yeah, versus Huff and Puff. Hallelujah.
Puff and Puff ain't gonna do nothing for
So
this.
yeah, this is going to be higher than your standard Riesling sweetness, I think.
We've talked about this, though, that
this is
from nation to nation in Europe, there's basically different levels of residual sugars and then added sugars that you can craft with wine and still call them original to domain. And so Italy affords you actually not only leaving residual sugars but adding sugars. And where Spain would prefer you to just leave those residuals,
oh yeah.
Germany will have you dump boatloads of sugars in their wine.
So I'm getting like a very sweet caramel apple.
I
I'll
could,
buy the
I
green
could
apple, yeah.
125% see that. No, that is absolutely.
possibly some tropical fruit, but still very like a mango.
Yeah, I could feel that.
I almost taste like the dried sweetened papayas. You know, like you get like the papaya strips or something like
Okay.
that.
Which is very settling to the stomach, and that's actually one of the lauded comments of dry papaya is, hey, eat this when you got a bellyache. Well, try some sparkling Lolo when you got a little bellyache. It'll cheer you up.
It'll probably help. Yeah, but it does to me. Like I would compare the sweetness level of this to Coke.
It's
You know, it has that cloying.
It is
has
kinda
a
soda
cloying
pop.
mouthfeel.
Okay, Coca
Yeah.
Cola.
Yeah.
I've got this kind of building up
I
little
was
sugar.
definitely talking about Coca Cola.
Sorry, after the hot cacao, I did, you know.
So compare this to what we have in the area, the Scuppernong and the
I would almost say, I would say they're about the same level of sweetness. This is a different kind of sweetness almost. This tastes more natural, even though it probably is not as natural with the sweetness. But the body is much heavier to me, and it's not a heavy wine. The body is thicker. The body is curvier on this. Muscadine wine has a thin body to it.
Yeah.
It tends to be.
Although I've had some muscadine wines that get a little syrupy. This doesn't come across as syrupy.
It doesn't come across as syrupy. It does have the cloying aspect.
It does.
On the back end. But you know, like if you took your Duplin standard and put it up to this, the Duplin just the color, the mouthfeel, all of that would be way thinner almost to me
Okay.
than this would be. It's a really well made sweet wine right here. I mean, dessert wines are a thing too. This would be great after a meal to kind of help digest a little bit.
Man, with like a triple layer chocolate cake or something like that.
I would actually do this before with a mousse bouche.
Okay.
Aperitif would be good. Now it might not be bad with like a sweeter like fruit tart or something after dinner as well.
Yeah, yeah.
If you went with a fruity, I don't know that I would do chocolate with it. I think that they would. I think we'd have a little bit of conflict between flavors.
I would probably though pairing in a 4-course meal. I would actually, other than a port or a you know some other type of fortified wine, I tend for dessert. I tend to take these and put them in, up front with some cheese.
This is an herbaceous level.
I might put this with a dry white cheddar or manchego to offset the sweetness.
Maybe even like an aged piece of parm.
There you go.
The salty with the sweet.
There you go.
You get a really cool kind of
nice Italian pairing there.
But I almost get like an herbaceous level when I smell it on the nose too a little bit. Like maybe a hint of like a.
Well, that was the thing to me is
I wouldn't fly over the soft cheeses. Unherbed have already complement the herbaceousness.
maybe good.
And then that chewiness of the soft cheese could maybe answer to the cloying of the sugars and really soak them up.
Mascarpone on like a bland cracker actually would be pretty
But
good.
it can't be a sweet. It's got to be a dry.
Well, mascarpone is not always a sweet cheese,
Yeah.
you know. But if you had like a drier mascarpone on basically a bland cracker with it, it'd probably be really good.
Yeah. So as far as pairing with the meal, I'm personally going to stay away from pairing it with anything sweet. It's got because this is sweet on
Sweet
its own.
enough.
It's got to have something dry and sharp to
Are they
counter.
just totally neutral and fatty to just work with those sugars, or like really just work that dry end and counter?
What about dried salted fish?
No.
I was thinking maybe like a weird like a anchovy aioli or something,
You could've
or
just
like,
said, and no.
but no. Maybe an olive tapenade, but even then it's gonna be so briny. It's gonna really mess with this. And
Yeah, I don't
so
think
I'm
you want to
gonna
go
go with
salty. I
Rob,
don't
where
think you
it's
wanna
like
go
just really keep it simple. Just
Sardines.
really
I'm
simple.
telling you, sardines.
I don't think you want to go salty on this. I think you want to stay just dry, a sharp type, cheese. to counter.
I can have sardines here. For
Honestly,
5 minutes.
you want to know what I
You
think
could, but
would
you're
go
not going
great
to.
with this? Rolled up slices of bologna, my boxer shorts, and a video game controller.
Okay. So we're getting away from the actual. Well, yeah.
It's finesse.
But you know, you said something there that kind of maybe if you want to go salty, how about prosciutto?
Prosciutto would be nice with this.
Hey, here we are back in Long Island.
There you go.
Donnie's got that finely sliced prosciutto. Oh, brother.
Some capicola,
How about some,
sopressata.
how about some prosciutto and roll it in some.
You mean the gabagool? You want that gabagool?
Ooh.
Oh, prosciutto, like the little like the little
So-
provolone, like prosciutto roulades.
Not provolone, no.
You know, I think we were looking right
Um,
past it. We're trying to figure out what cheese or what fruit or what glaze, and like literally, no. Italian meats, like preserved meats. That's where it's at. An olive loaf, bologna.
Roll
Like
with
that would be the
ricotta.
thing with this.
Prosciutto roll with ricotta.
A little dollop of ricotta right there in the middle. Roll it up. Ooh.
Back to my soft, salty cheeses, guys. I win again.
You win.
I win again.
We're going with your salty. We're not doing the fish though.
I still think it should be olive loaf.
I don't get why everyone hates on salted fish.
It's just
It's cool. You can throw your side name party anytime you want.
when we go and do a wine from Norway, you can throw your salted fish in there.
They don't have wine in Norway.
Exactly.
Shaj, have you tried the elderberry wine?
Portugal, man.
So,
salt cod.
Let's go ahead and go back and review our beers tonight.
If it's necessary.
Um,
Guy wrote down that he had a palate cleanser of Optical Illusion, Bell's Bright White, and the kombucha. Anything speakable out of this? I can tell you something right away. I've had Optical Illusion before. I remember it being way more hazy. This is kind of copper tone. It is really malty. There's a nice bitter to go with it. I'm not. They're calling it the New England haze thing, and I just don't see the haze in here, guys. Do you? So I don't know. Did they give us a little beer? Or?
so the Bell's Bright White.
are they doing?
I've got a nice little Belgian style wit. Very easy to clear palate with. I think it's very neutral.
The kombucha, the ginger oak, is probably the driest of all four of the ones you carry here. That's why I love it as a palate cleanser. It's doing a great job. I mean, it will. You use pickled ginger for palate cleansers when you eat sushi. You know, ginger's a good way to clean the palate.
Contact haze.
Contact haze. This is a great party beer. Nothing offensive in this flavor. I want to get that out there. It's just a really good, simple formula. They said hazy. It wasn't remarkably hazy. Not as much as the fog that just rolled in. Wow. It's definitely a Northwest beer. It's got a dry finish and not a juicy Northeast feel.
I'm gonna.
Oh, am I
agree with
supposed to
but
thumb?
you are supposed to thumb it.
I'll give it a 3/4 knock. It wasn't like the best beer, but it wasn't a bad beer, so it's like a 3/4 knock.
For me, I agree. It's good little party beer. It's something you're gonna take with you. You're not gonna lose out when you give it a couple away to some buds. Excuse me.
Tempered palates might be friendly here too.
5.5, and I think they came from the Bright White.
It's like the IPA your girlfriend drank in your fridge when you were out at work.
Yeah.
She's like, I drink IPAs. You're like, no, that was something different.
Yeah, you can have that one. So, Contact Haze. I think it's a quality little beer. Am I going out of my way to go, ooh? No, I'm not. But it's
I'm not flat brimming over.
Yeah, it's a nice little beer to pick up. Decent price point. Take a 6-pack wherever and knock a couple back. I'm gonna give it half a thumb.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and agree with Nick on the nub and a quarter.
Nub and a quarter.
He did 3/4.
No, yeah. So nub is a half a thumb.
Gotcha.
Nub is half a thumb, and then like half a nub, whatever that looks like.
Okay.
So no, but I'd say 3/4 of a full thumb. Take mechanical accident or something. It's a
It
fun
might idea how they made the beer.
It's a well-made beer. It has its place. I would probably like if I was running low on time, ran by the gas station, and I saw this, and then there was like Goose Island or something next to it. I'd probably pick this up as a 6-pack to take over to Nick's house for the fire that he's not going to attend.
No, I'll be inside making cheese trays.
Yeah. So I mean, I would totally grab it for that, but as a whole, it doesn't blow my skirt up. It's good. It's not to me. It's not that special. It's a beer.
It didn't blow my skirt up, but it didn't leave any wrinkles in my shirt either.
Yeah,
I think what we're saying is it's a solid beer, but there's nothing spectacular about it.
I would buy it.
Probably is the go-to type beer of IPA drinkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also just thinking about somebody coming in a hot day a little bit. We're in a hot winter cycle right now. This is a nice, refreshing taste, and I think I overlooked that because here we are in an evening tasting. We have other beverages out here with bold tastes, but it's really refreshing. No bad aftertaste.
You're not
nothing
gonna
like
be
that.
disappointed
Yeah.
if you have this beer. It's just you may not be overwhelmingly impressed.
That's right. That's right. There might be a few in the fridge. That,
All right. So you gave it 3/4.
Yeah.
So let's have you go ahead and rate your hop cocoa.
Hot cocoa would easily for me give it a thumb and a half. I can't say it's like mind-blowingly amazing, but it's really good. Cocoa nib flavor, cacao nib, whatever, however you're actually supposed to say that.
Don't have a cacao, man.
Yeah, really comes through. The flavor is nice. It's a really well-made porter. It's light. It's drinkable. It's an enjoyable beer. It's smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think it's a solid porter. I think it is. You get the dryness of the cocoa cacao. You don't get sweetness from that. You get chocolate flavor without the sweetness. You do get the coffee of a porter stout that you normally get. It is a lighter porter. It's not a thick, milky, cover your palate. But I think it's solid. I'm interested to see what Wicked Weed is going to do with the new formula because they're changing this up. This is the last time it's coming out. And I'm interested to see what the next one is going to be. But this is quality. I'm going to give it a solid thumb. Right there in the middle. It's nothing spectacular. Again, this is a good drinking beer. 6.5. Again, I'll split the 6-pack with that and contact haze and go to a bonfire.
Probably make a few friends.
Yeah. I'll be like, here, try the contact haze. Didn't like that? Here, try the hot cocoa.
Are you sure you like beer?
That's not a bad way. Those two actually play very well together. In the same box.
Yeah. So I'll give it a solid thumb. Nick?
I'm gonna go ahead and say thumbs up. I might bite my thumbnail a little bit on this, but here's my deal: is I like a well-built porter that has a nice dry finish, and that's what this is. Wicked Wheat builds good beers. They have great malts that they work with. They temper with hops nicely, and they add some special flavors in. Some of their beers are more specially flavored than others. I'm going to put this really low on the spectrum of special flavor. This is very true to a porter. And then what we've got is a little bit of this dry cacao flavor. It is not your milk chocolate fudge porter. And if you like cookies and cream or chocolate cake, German chocolate cake, stick with those in that decadent series. This is something just more like everyday feel. I might have more than one of these in a session, and I'm going to be okay with that. It is true to porter with some extra flavor. It stays dry. I like it. So I'm pretty much thumbs up. Like I said, it's a little bit like, so maybe I'm curious to see where this recipe goes to.
Yeah. So the Lola Moscato d'Asti, DOCG from Italy, we said everything but the price. Price is $17 a bottle. So here's the thing for me. This is not my flavor profile. I do not like sweet wines. Other than ports. I'm big on ports. Um, there's a couple other of the fortified wines that I'm decent on, but ports are my sweet wine go to. I like the nuttiness of them and so forth. This does not have that nuttiness. To me, though, as far as quality level, this is classic Moscato d'Asti. Sweetness level is up there. Cloyingly sweet. And it's got a nice. It does have a nice tropical fruit zest to it, but it's not for me. I think this appeals to a lot of the ladies out there because they do like the sweet wine. It's kind of introductory types to that. Heads and tails above the sweet wines that come out of this area. However, not for me. If I like sweet wines, I'd probably give it a thumb and a half. I don't like sweet wines. I'm going to give it a half a thumb for me. Nick.
I'm going to go ahead and just say I like LDDs, selfies on the balcony, group shots with my girls. I don't know what Brittany's deal is tonight, and Karen can stop complaining. Fuck hors d'oeuvres and just bring us another bottle of Lola. That's what this is about. If that doesn't sound like the kind of party you're into, maybe just go back over to the red wine shelf and crawl back in the kitchen. The people who are drinking this,
Half what he said.
the people who are drinking this are looking for a nice Instagram moment with their friends.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting to. Is this is all about just the moment you pop it and share it and get that taste on your tongue. This is not a taste that's going to bring you back for several more glasses in a session. If you're hosting a party and you want to keep your head together and keep a glass in your hand, this might be a good one to have on hand because you still have 2 courses to get out to 25 people. I know I've got myself deep into IPAs and I'm like, yeah, fix your own damn plates, you know? And then who does dishes? I don't know. We smash them, we don't do them. But this is much more like refined and, you know, might open up the group to talk, but it's not going to have anybody crying on the shoulder losing their keys.
And
have you found Becky's cell phone, by the way?
No.
Oh, damn it.
But your rating?
My rating? It's a thumbs up. Here's the thing, though. This is a thumb up in the world of sweet wine, okay? If somebody's going to force me to drink sweet wine, my number 1 rule is it better be sparkling. And my number 2 rule is it better not be from the United States. And so this meets both those things. And gladly I'll take a small glass on the balcony before we fire up the grill.
Gotcha. Josh?
Alright. No disclaimer, I absolutely hate sweet wine. If anybody remembers, I think it was like the 2nd or 3rd episode of this podcast when Rob pulled out the can of sweet wine on me.
The can, I forgot about it. I was out of town.
This is before we had the thumb rating system, you know.
You guys invented it that night.
This is back when we were in the office, you know. So my personal rating for this, we'll get to it in a bit. This is a very well-made wine. If you like sweet wine, you will almost without a doubt like this. As I said, I'm not a sweet wine person, but if I was, I would drink this. I think it's a great introductory wine, too, for people who may be new to the world of wine. Sugar is a very familiar flavor.
Yep.
A lot of flavors that are found in wine are not familiar if you haven't drank wine before. So I think it's a good... I'm going to say it's like a bike with really fat tires and training wheels.
It's a beach cruiser. You got it. But the training wheels are still on it.
Yes, it's a beach cruiser with training wheels. So, I mean, for what it is, like, technical aspect and everything, thumb and a half.
Yeah.
If I drink sweet wine and I'm looking for sweet wine, this is a very highly rated one. My personal thing is I'm not wasting a thumb on it. I think this is wild, but anyone who likes sweet wine will like it, you know?
And again, these ratings are not to make fun of or to poke, you know, whatever.
No, that is
about people who do like sweet wines, because this is there's a whole large spectrum of people that
You
do
may
like
have scored
sweet
some
I
points with
also
the tally.
like
Man.
Scotch and like dry whiskey, you know. So I mean, it's like that's just my palate.
Yeah.
I don't drink
And,
sweet
and
stuff.
I did purposely pick this wine because I knew all three of us would not be able to give it personally good ratings, and I just wanted to show that we don't always pick stuff that we like.
Think about the
So-
number of episodes in which we've never refilled our wine glass.
Yeah, the bottle is still there. So, all right, guys, that is episode 32 of What Are You Drinking Now here at the office.
Don't forget to tell us, what are you drinking now?
So you have a good week. Josh, you were on the way to saying something?
I'm just saying, like, yeah, I forgot it.
All right. All right, guys, have a good week. We'll see you next week.